All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to Make It Custom. I'm Carl Fisher and we are back on the 1939 Lincoln Zephyr 4-door to 2-door chopped coupe conversion project. And we've been making these machines, so it's been taking a long time to get the trunk surround done, like the gutter stuff. But all those pieces are made now, so we're gonna attach those, which is just a small part of this video. And then I'm going to either jump onto the doors and start figuring those out, or I might just come in and start making panels for here and welding on this side piece and just kind of like getting the border ready for these like final panels on here. That's probably what I'll do, just to keep with the flow of where we've been working on the car. And yeah, thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like, click subscribe, hit notifications. Let's do some work on the Zephyr. All right, so I think right now of what I'm gonna do, I wanna get this trunk lid out of the way. We've got a lot of work to do on this lip, and it is fitting quite well. So well, you see this spot right here that's missing? I should probably like double check the fit and weld that up so that that can't move. That's like a flexible spot for us right now. See how I can flex that? Maybe I'll solidify this and weld that in place and then remove this trunk lid. In order to do so, I'm probably going to have to maybe drill a couple of 1/8 holes in those brackets so that I can just put it right back into the same spot. That's the plan. Okay, we'll do that and check back. So, just double check that that lip is nice and lined up. It's kind of flatter than that. Okay, now it's sitting up. Now it's sitting up again up here, so I guess it shrank a little bit there. looking good here still. All right, I'm gonna tack this piece back in and then see if we can hammer it down a little bit. Kind of good to, yeah, this right there. Don't forget your ground. Okay. Of course, I left the hammer under the trunk. I mean, we're pretty close. This trunk lip dives a little bit too, so I don't want to get too carried away, but I think we can lock that in. We're looking really good at the peak, you know? Yeah, that's pretty bang on. Okay, call that good. Now I can remove the trunk lid. I'm happy with it. Hopefully, when I pop this, everything stays. Yeah, everything stayed. Nothing moved. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Beauty. We're all good there. Got that off. Got those little holes drilled in there. It's gonna make it really easy to line that trunk back up. Just used a 1/8 drill bit, and then you just pop the drill bits in there and it lines it up perfect. So there's no guesswork. This is looking good. I'm gonna leave that for now. I'm not gonna weld all this up because I know how much welding that up is gonna add heat to that area, and it's for sure going to distort. So what's the next best thing? Well, this piece going in here, lapped underneath and spot welded, is gonna add strength to that spot so that when I do, I'll probably, just because there's big gaps in here, I'll probably just use the MIG and I'll just tack and cool and try and keep this area from sinking because it's lined up so good right now. Like I had mentioned before, I think how they would have done this is this extra piece here, this piece that we welded in, that I think would have been, would have had this gutter in between these two pieces. So I'm probably gonna have to like notch out for this and then spot weld on the inside and then notch, you know, for these little edges. But that's okay. We'll fit this piece in also. It's gonna need some tweaking before it's perfect. And we'll do our best to try and like make this gutter nice and smooth. There's like a pretty good ding right there. Something must have happened. There's a bunch of dents in this area. But yeah, that's it. I'm just gonna start fitting these pieces on. And then I think it would be really great if I would just continue to weld and finish this stuff. Maybe add a little piece of metal in here. And then maybe start fitting, you know, these corners so that the perimeter of those two big panels is like ready to be welded to. That's the plan anyway, so I'm gonna get cracking on installing that drip gutter that we made with the, well, for those of you that haven't seen it, I'm sure that you have, but this is how that gutter is made. We basically just have like an L-shaped piece of 18 gauge. I shrink and stretch it until it fits. And then I stretch a little bit and work the edge as it's coming over by hand. And then we put it in this profile die to true it up. That's what that does with our new machine. Yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. I think there's like only 3 left as we speak, as I'm filming this from the second pre-order. And yeah, I'm just so excited about the machine. I know you guys are too. So thank you once again. Really appreciate that. Yeah, that's the plan. Let's keep going. Okay, so I think now that most of this is pretty much fully welded up, fully smoothed out. There was a little bit of tapping around, like I did kind of tap the lip around a little bit just to make sure that it all flowed nice. Some of the original stuff, I also kind of had to, you know, put a dolly and just close this up. Like, it's not all like it just fit perfect, right? Like, there's always little bits of manipulation, and you would be surprised actually at how much you can manipulate a piece of metal by just, like, you know, slowly starting at one end and like put a plug weld or any kind of weld and then kind of give it a bit of a wiggle in a direction and then get your next weld. And you can kind of like, what I'm saying is I did a lot of that. I spent a little bit of time lining everything up to make sure that everything blended out so you couldn't see my seams. You know, there was some of the pinched material that kind of blew the material out. Like I sanded that back a little bit. It's like, you know, when it went through the profiler, if it had a little bit of extra material, it squished it on an edge and just kind of like made it really sharp. I sanded all that. I'm just using 80 grit on a roll lock. This is my favorite disc. No, I'm not sponsored, although 3M, I would love to be. I know that like multiple subscribers have actually like reached out to them, which I totally appreciate that on my behalf. That's really, really cool. So you know who you are. Thank you so much for that. But I tell you guys because I think it'll help you. The purple Cubitron discs, they are ceramic. They are 80 grit that I use. I keep it so simple. 80 grit on this, 80 grit on a sticky, and that's all I do to finish anything. Like, you don't need a bunch of different sandpaper or anything. You need 80 grit that's sharp, that works. Like, I'll cut welds down with this, and it's sharp enough that like you're not sitting there forever and it lasts a really long time. So they're twice as expensive, but they last 3 times longer and they are faster. So you are saving money, I promise, by spending money on these. Yeah, so I keep it simple. That's what I do. Just to do all this. This is all just 3-inch roll lock and then the sticky DA. And like this is like the cheapest one you can get. I'm talking about the tool. And same thing with my my DA. It's also the cheapest one you can get. Like they're like $60 Canadian. They're probably $40 American. These are you know, $30 Canadian, or maybe, yeah, 30 or 40 bucks Canadian. I don't know. You don't need expensive stuff to do nice work. Anyway, moving on. I do notice now that this has like a bit more roll than that, and that's a welded edge. So I'm gonna kind of smooth that out a little bit. I'm gonna put the trunk back on. We're gonna refit that. And then I'm gonna start fitting these side panels again. Like these were roughed out, right? These major panels here, they were just roughed out. And then we've got this corner panel. I'm just gonna fit those all back on and kind of work on them a little bit because that will be kind of the next thing. Yeah. Okay, you remember we put those 1/8 holes in our hinges? This is when it counts, right now. So I'm just gonna try and get the rest of these bolts in here. Back that out a little bit. Lift this up. This is also gonna tell us whether or not this all moved. You know, like we were trying to be really careful. I tacked that piece from the gutter down, that little piece of square bar to support it. Like, see how I can get my hand fully in here? This is not attached to this. this is only attached to this by just those little brackets here. So this whole thing is floating. So all that welding that we did on that edge, like it very well could have changed something. We were trying to be careful about it, but it's possible. So putting these directly back in the exact spot will also kind of like forensically tell us if we did anything to change that. So I'm gonna throw another one in here. Yeah, that one's lined up. So with these two lined up, like even though this other side isn't on here, like you could just tighten it up and it would be fine, you know? It wouldn't matter because it is not gonna move. The whole weight of this entire trunk lid is on this hinge right now. And that's how this setup is designed. It's weird. Like the hinges are different. This one locks out. So everything is like kind of torquing on that hinge right now. See, these things, they're so flimsy, they can twist too. So even though I've got one in, like, you know, you gotta have both in because they have play this way. Okay, I mean, I'm looking right through it. That's good enough. Okay, we will see if it will close and see how it is. Okay. Oh, we did good. We did good. We did real good. Unreal. I was expecting something. I was expecting there'd be some kind of warpage there, but nice and strong. It looks like it didn't dip at all, actually. Check that out. Yeah, right on. Stoked. Beautiful. There is still work to do here. We can all see the ripples in here. I still have a lot of work to do here. I still want to crisp up this line a little bit. And I believe that if I put, you know, a curved piece on here like a gauge, that we're a little low in this section and a little sharp here. So I just kind of, there's a little bit of work to do there. But we are one step closer. That trunk opening is officially done. Like that, I've never done anything like that before myself. And the whole process of like going through it and kind of troubleshooting the tooling for it and making dies and just kind of like learning about how something like that reacts to just, you know, shrinking and stretching and simple kind of forming and stuff. I'm stoked. I hope everybody kind of like tries stuff like this. If you break it down, it's not as scary as it seems. You know, this is a scary piece to me, like in my head from my own previous experiences, but now taking it into simpler steps like regular shrinking and stretching and L, you know, that's something that I think is relatively simple once you get the hang of it. And then just hammering it over and running it through a die, like those are things that you guys can do and play with and learn from. So yeah, so stoked. We have an original gutter done. Yeah, next thing I'm gonna start looking at this area here. I've got, this is the side that wasn't quite finished off. You know, I've got my weld not ground down. I've got some of the holes from the clecos still on the side. It looks like this panel kind of let go. See how I can flex that whole thing? And it popped itself out from the door a little bit, like it just wasn't attached. So I'm gonna start looking into this and just putting on this side profile. Like I'm gonna fit that piece. I might not actually weld it on yet because I have a lot of prepping to do here, but I'm gonna start the process of trying to close this up and just making sure that everything fits right, and just keep getting closer. And then we got doors. We got doors to tackle. We got those bottom pieces to tackle. We're getting there. See what I was talking about here? This, I'm not sure why, but this all kind of pushed away that crack there. So I'm gonna just tighten that up, get that tacked back on so that this piece is in the right spot this way. And then I'm gonna fit that bead roll piece, and we're just gonna start tightening everything up. Like we're getting there. You see how shaped this door is in? Still two pieces, like part of the back door, part of the front door. So that's gonna be a big project, but we'll get her. Okay, tighten that up. All right, this thing is looking like a car again. Just put all the panels back on and just tweaked them around a little bit. This quarter panel, I just used the slapper and just by hand felt, you know, as close as we could take it further, but I got most of the highs and lows out without going to like pick and file style stuff. I'm quite happy with it. I think the quarter looks great. I think it fits the door really well. We got this pushed back in. This is great. The gap will need a little bit of work to be perfect, but even that gap is actually quite nice. So stoked with that. Put the panels back on. This one definitely needs a lot more shape. You see how much is going on there and how it's tight in the center. So that one needs a little bit of work. We are at that point though of, you know, finalizing the outer panels type thing. So I'm pretty excited to, you know, like, 'cause this is my learning experience too. Like I've never refined panels and tried to get them close, and like I could see there being a bit of content on this, just a heads up. Because before putting these outer panels on, it does make sense to do as much work as possible to smooth this all out. Fitting the outer panels, like getting them to fit really nice, is gonna be quite important. And so I'm gonna try and fine tune and do my best. One thing I'm noticing is on both panels here, this area is a little bit flat. Like it needs more stretch to kind of curve this down. We need to shrink a little bit here, sorry, not stretch, shrink a little bit here to curve this panel down. When you look back on the car, that's kind of a turning point. So both panels need that. They're kind of flared up at the back a little bit and a little bit too flat in this spot. You see that hump here too? There's like a bit of extra hump. That's something that is what makes this car flow. So we've got to hit that spot. We've got to treat it right. Otherwise, it's looking good. And yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I've been swamped once again. Thank you so much for the orders. Apparently there is a bit of a market for a small machine for the garage person that has the versatility to do what this machine can do, and I'm so happy. Like it actually like fills my cup inside. Like, not to get you know, too deep into this, but when I was a little kid, I like, you know, older people, parents, whatever, they ask you what you want to be when you grow up. And like fireman, astronaut, race car driver, all that kind of stuff. I used to say inventor. That's what I used to say. I used to like look up to Albert Einstein and like, you know, Nikola Tesla, and just like, oh, I don't know. It just kind of opened my mind as a young child that there were these people out there creating things that people hadn't seen. And so I realize now that I am kind of doing that in making tools for you guys. So it's awesome, and I really appreciate all the orders and the support. Despite all the tariffs, we did the you know, $200 off, and that really almost takes care of the tariffs for anybody in the US. And I saw that really worked well, and you know, there are enough orders that it makes it worth it to do the discount, and people are just so excited about it. I'm just gonna leave the discount up, I guess. Yeah, I'm not gonna put the price back up. I'm just gonna leave that discount on there for anybody, because like we sold out. Thank you, we sold out again. So I'm working on getting, you know, more supplies so that we can do another run before Christmas, because I think that's what people are like realizing is like, this is like a great little Christmas gift, and it seems like lots of people are doing that. So yeah, as soon as I have more supply, I will turn on the orders again, and we will only turn on enough that we think that we can fulfill by Christmas. That's the goal anyway. So we're trying our best, and the warehouse guys are doing a great job. And yeah, Bad Chad coming to visit was awesome. Huge shout out to those guys. If you guys have been paying attention, Bad Chad and Jolene bought a 1939 Mercury 4-door out here, something that is, you know, not available on the East Coast very easily because of how little rust or no rust this Mercury has. So he's really excited to buy that thing and to get it back to Nova Scotia. And I opened my big mouth and I said, hey, maybe I can drive it to you, you know, on the ramp truck. And personally, I would love, I've just always wanted to drive across the country just to say that I did it. I did it last year in a 51 Merc, coast to coast, you know, Washington to New York, like Pacific to Atlantic. So I would like to do that in Canada. I think it'd be a really great adventure. It'd be a cool way to like maybe drop in on other provinces that I haven't been to yet. Maybe do some metal shaping classes along the way. Maybe do some like, I don't know, whatever. I think it'd be really fun. And I just sort of jumped at it. I just threw the idea out there and I said, hey, maybe I could throw that car on the ramp truck and bring it to you guys. So that's what I'm gonna do. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching, and japhandskustoms.com for any of the merchandise or the tools or any of that kind of stuff. And yeah, much appreciated. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.